What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble the 24 volt Lamborghini Aventador SVJ Roadster from Hollisey step by step. So stay tuned. All right, so now that we got everything unboxed, you'll notice that I'm using the shipping box as kind of a way to prop up the car. It makes it a little easier to work on. I like to lay out all my parts so I can see what I have, like the seat, spoiler, wheels, and so on and so on. Makes it a little bit easier to find all your parts. You also have your manual, so you can follow along with the manual. This is actually a fairly simple assembly, and let's get started going step by step. So while I have the car upside down, I'm going to show you a couple of things underneath the car that makes it easier for you to be able to move it. You have these little folding wheels here in the back. There's two of them. You can fold them out. And then there's also a handle up front here. If the car is sitting on the driveway at the end of the day, it's easy to move. All you do is flip out those wheels, pick it up with a handle, and just drag it into the garage or wherever you're storing it. We're going to get started at the front of the car, and we're going to install the front wheels. With the kit, you have two sets of wheels. You have the front wheels, which are almost practically flat, and you also have the rears that have some tabs on the gear for it to slide into the gear motor. So these are going to be used for the rear, and these we're going to use for the front. We're going to use one of the included tools to go ahead and take off the nut that's pre-installed. And you'll notice there's also two washers on here. We're gonna leave the bigger one on there. Install the wheel and install the washer and reinstall the lock nut. Now you wanna make sure that that lock nut is nice and tight, and then at the same time, make sure you spin your wheel to make sure that it's spinning freely. If it's not spinning freely, just back off about a quarter of a turn and it'll spin freely. Same thing on the other side. I'm gonna remove that lock nut, remove one of the washers, leave the big one on there, install the front wheel, replace the washer, and install the lock nut. Now we're going to move on to the rear of the car and install the rear wheels. So you'll notice that there's a rubber band installed here on these gearboxes, and that's just to prevent them from sliding out because there's nothing holding them in. We're going to remove that rubber band and remove this lock nut and remove the one washer that's on there. There's no other washer on here, so there's nothing to put in there. We're gonna go ahead and take the rear wheel, once again the one that has the tabs on it, and slide it into the gearbox, install the washer, reinstall the lock nut, and go ahead and tighten that up. Now you're not going to be able to get this tight all the way, and that's going to be the last step after we've installed the other wheel. So since the axle goes all the way across from one wheel to the other, that's the reason why they installed two of these tools, so you can simultaneously tighten them at the same time from both sides and get the wheels on there tight. So the rear wheels are obviously not going to be spinning freely because they do have the motors attached to them, so those lock nuts just need to be nice and snug on there. The last step for the wheels is we're gonna install these wheel covers, and all you're doing is just lining up these tabs to the openings in the wheels. And pressing them in. All right, now that we're done with the wheels, we're gonna go ahead and flip it the right side up. For the next step, we're installing the windshield, and the windshield just clips into place with tabs. The next step, we're going to install the steering wheel, and they have made it very easy. All you have to do is connect this connector, which only goes in one way and clips in. Slide the rest of the wire into this opening, making sure that the logo is the right way up. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna snap it in because it has these quick release buttons in here, and that's what it's gonna snap onto and stay in place. You might have to press them a little. And just like that, as you see, it snaps into place and the steering wheel is attached. So before installing the seat, I always like to make sure that everything's working. We're gonna go ahead and plug it in. Here is the red wire that you need to find where the seat is located. Plug it in, go ahead and fire it up. Put it in forward. Tap the throttle and the car is moving forward. Everything works, so we're ready to go ahead and install the seat. So the first step to installing the seat is we have to use a Phillips screwdriver and remove these pre-installed screws in the corners here. There's two of them, one on each side. So since the seat is adjustable, the back of the seat here has these posts and they have some rubber covers for those posts. We're gonna go ahead and remove those. And these posts are gonna go into these openings right here. Also make sure that the harnesses are not in the way and they are correctly placed. So the seat should just pop into place. If it does not, that means there's something in the back of the seat that's not letting it. Make sure none of the wires are in the way or any of the connectors. Once you got the seat popped in, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall these screws. To adjust the seat, there's a little handle here underneath that you pull, and the seat is adjustable. Right here under the back cover, there is the battery and also the drift function switch. So if you want to be able to use the drift function, you have to remove this one screw that is right here behind this green little tab. And you can go ahead and just open this up. In here you will see the battery, and right here is the drift function, which makes it a little bit easier to drift by adding a little bit more speed. We're gonna go ahead and reinstall this cover. Next, we're gonna install the wing, and the wing just clips in. Final step is installing the mirrors, and we're gonna remove the little protective cover off of them. And they also just snap into place. All right, now that we're pretty much done, I'm gonna give you a quick walk around. The door release is right here, and they are on a strut, so both sides open up, just like that. Here on the inside, you have your light switch, your high speed, your low speed. On the steering wheel, you also have the horn buttons. And then on the other side, you have the charging port, your on-off switch, your forward, stop, and backwards. And then you also have your MP3 player. Now here on the bottom, it has a micro SD card slot, a USB slot, and also an MP3 jack input. You can find the rest of the instructions for that in your manual. In order to connect your phone for Bluetooth music, all you have to do is click the Bluetooth option. On your phone, you will see F31, basically what it's saying right there. Just connect to that. Connected. And you will have your Bluetooth connected. Here is the charger with a light indicator. The red light means it's still charging. The green light means it's ready to go. Make sure you charge it up completely before your first run. Charging port is right here, and it will shut the car down as soon as you plug it in if you forget to turn the switch off. For the remote, you do need to install 2 AAA batteries in the back. And go ahead and open it up. Replace the cover. And the remote should work. Once you put the batteries in the remote, it might not be linked to the car. All you have to do is press and hold this button until it flashes. This is your speed select. It's going to be indicated on here. First one is the lowest, medium, and high. This is forward. This is reverse. Then you have your left and right. And also you have a park button, which locks out the car completely. Your child is not going to be able to use the pedal to control the car. It just stops the car completely. Also, the remote will not work once the park is on. Once you turn the park off, it is ready to go again. Kind of like a safety feature to just stop your kid from going into the street accidentally. If you're going to be using the remote before you take it out, just do a couple of practice laps in the driveway just to make sure that you can be familiar with the remote control once your kid is inside. There you guys have it, a super simple assembly. All you have to do now is charge it up and go out and have some fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.